Epilogue. O true and tried, so well and long, demand not thou a marriage slay, and that it is thy marriage day is music more than any song. Nor have I felt so much of bliss since first he told me that he loved a daughter of our house, nor proved since that dark day a day like this. Though I since then have numbered o'er some thrice 3 years, they went and came, remade the blood and changed the frame, and yet is love not less, but more. No longer caring to embalm in dying songs a dead regret, but like a statue solid set, molded in colossal calm. Regret is dead, but love is more than in the summers that are flown. For I myself with these have grown to something greater than before, which makes appear the songs I made as echoes out of weaker times, as half but idle brawling rhymes, the sport of random sun and shade. But where is she, the bridal flower that must be made a wife ere noon? She enters, glowing like the moon of Eden in its bridal bower. On me she bends her blissful eyes, and then on thee they meet thy look, and brighten like the star that shook betwixt the palms of paradise. Oh, when her life was yet in bud, he too foretold the perfect rose. For thee she grew, for thee she grows, forever, and as fair as good. And thou art worthy, full of power, as gentle, liberal-minded, great, consistent, wearing all that weight of learning lightly like a flower. But now set out, the noon is near, and I must give away the bride. She fears not, and with thee beside and me behind her, will not fear. For I that danced her on my knee, that watched her on her nurse's arm, that shielded all her life from harm, at last must part with her to thee. Now waiting to be made a wife, her feet, my darling on the dead. Their pensive tablets round her head, and the most living words of life breathed in her ear. The ring is on, the wilt thou answered, and again the wilt thou asked, till out of twain her sweet I will has made you one. Now sign your names, which shall be read with symbols of a joyful morn, by village eyes as yet unborn. The names are signed, and overhead begins the clash and clang that tells the joy to every wandering breeze. Blind wall rocks, and on the trees the dead leaf trembles to the bells. O happy hour and happier hours await them. Many a merry face salutes them, maidens of the place that pelt us in the porch with flowers. O happy hour, behold the bride with him to whom her hand I gave. They leave the porch, they pass the grave that has today its sunny side. Today the grave is bright for me, for them the light of life increased, who stay to share the morning feast, who rest tonight beside the sea. Let all my genial spirits advance to meet and greet a whiter sun. My drooping memory will not shun the foaming grape of eastern France. It circles round and fancy plays, and hearts are warmed and faces bloom, as drinking health to bride and groom we wish them store of happy days. Count me all to blame if I conjecture of a stiller guest, perchance among the rest, and thou in silence wishing joy. But they must go. The time draws on, and those white-favored horses wait. They rise but linger, Miss Late, farewell. A kiss, and they are gone. A shade falls on us like the dark from little cloudlets on the grass, but sweeps away as out we pass to range the woods, to roam the park, discussing how their courtship grew, and talk of others that are wed. And how she looked and what he said, and back we come at fall of dew. Again the feast, the speech, the glee, the shade of passing thought, the wealth of words and wit, double health, the crowning cup, the 3 times 3. And last the dance, till I retire, dumb as that tower which spake so loud, and high in heaven the streaming cloud, and on the downs a rising fire. And rise, O moon, from yonder down, till over down and over dale all night the shining vapor sail, and past the silent lighted town. The white-faced halls, the glancing rills, and catch every mountain head, and o'er their friths that branch and spread their sleeping silver through the hills, and touch with shade the bridal doors, with tender gloom the roof, the wall, and breaking let the splendor fall to spangle all the happy shores by which they rest, and ocean sounds, and the starring system rolling past, the soul shall draw from out the vast, and strike his being into bounds, and moved through life of lower phase, result in man, be born and think, and act and love, a closer link betwixt us and the crowning race of those that eye to eye shall look on knowledge, under whose command is earth and earths, and in their hand is nature like an open book, no longer half akin to brute, for all we thought and loved and did and hoped and suffered is but seed of what in them is flower and fruit. For of the man that with me trod this planet was a noble type, appearing ere the times were ripe, a friend of mine who lives in God. But God, whichever lives and loves, one God, one law, one element, and one far-off divine event, to which the whole creation moves. Been quite a journey. I'll